Hey Pip, Coach Bill here. I hope you're enjoying your off season. Our regular season has ended, the fall season has ended, and we're just getting into the beginning of the off season. So I hope everybody is back at it. Hope they're enjoying a game that they love. So over the course of a year, I'll end up working with about 150 kids. Most of those are one-on-one lessons and such, although we do have our groups. And the bulk of those are between the ages of 10 and 18, although we do have our college players and we do have a few pros. However, for the most part, it's those ages of 10 to 18 years of age. And so what I see happen pretty regular is this kids who have had a good season, a good fall, a good summer, boy, they're anxious to get at it. And some of those youngsters who didn't quite have the season they were expecting or that they had wanted, they're a little disappointed, they're a little dejected, they're a little slow in dragging their feet. And a lot of times they feel, or you hear that term, burnout. And so today I want to talk about, hey, how to overcome burnout and overwhelm and create success, okay? So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm not going to edit this. I just want this to roll through. These are just thoughts off the top of my head. So I just want to get to go down that path. So, what causes that idea of burnout is overwhelm. And oftentimes it begins with the idea that, hey, if I'm not doing so well, I can just run over here to YouTube and I can grab how, Jose Altuve hits or oh, I like that. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to see how Ronald Acuna hits. Oh, and right. And so we go from place to place, and quickly we begin to come up with all of these different ideas, all of these different ways, all of these different processes that we are trying to say, hey, I need to do that. And what happens is we don't really understand what I need to do, how I need to swing, correct? And what I'm saying here is, how do I move? Am I moving correctly? And I will just flat out tell you right now, I think from what I see typically, especially with the younger players, those that are in high school and under, strength is always an issue, right? So the ability to move well, all of those are going to create how I start to swing. Okay, now I don't want to go down that path here too much today. I want to get back to this idea of overwhelm. And so what happens, every time that a player will run, or a father or a mother will run to another YouTube just to input into what we're doing. Oh, give me this drill, give me that drill. Well, if I don't understand what it is that I am doing, most of the drills don't work. I mean, you should know me by now. You should know that I'm like 98% of the issues that I see are timing issues and don't really have movement issues. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I can take any swing and match it to a particular speed. Okay, ideally, the more efficient the movement is, the better the swing's going to be, right? The more efficient the swing will be. But so what I see is I just see a lot of players consuming a lot of content from a lot of different people out there. Okay, do this, do that, do this, do that. And so what happens is we get into this rut of search, think, search, think, search, think, search, think. And inevitably, it doesn't work, okay? So how do I overcome that? Well, I would think it's pretty simple, okay? It's actually an easy adjustment to make. And what I would say is, it is think, take action. Think, take action, okay? Now here's the ouchy part. In order to do that, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a lot of time, okay? It's going to require that you show up every day to do the things that you want to do, okay? If you want to be a good hitter, guess what? We're going to have to show up every day. And guess what's going to happen? On like day one, it's going to be really ugly. But because I took action, I already know what my process, I've already begun that process. I'm laying out my plan of success. So maybe day one is, hey, where am I? What am I doing? What does it feel like? Right? And so for me, always, you can ask everybody, and it's always funny because the high school kids always buck with me at this, but then it's funny because when they come back from their college or their pro, they're all saying, hey, you know what, Coach? we have to keep a journal, right? And that's something that I espouse from day one, right? If we're going to improve, what improves is measured, right? So, whatever is measured improves. I guess that's how the saying goes. So I want to make sure, right out of the gate, you should be measuring it down. Okay, so on first day, if Dad threw to me and I took 20 swings and I only made contact with 2 and I swung and missed, okay, what did I feel? What did I feel there? What was happening? Okay, so now I think about that. Now, what's my next best step to getting to that? Right? And so, hey, here's a little quick tip. If you're see the ball, it has nothing to do with your eyes on the ball. Okay, it has everything to do probably with your front shoulder flying open. All right, so make sure that we understand that. And somewhere along the line, go into the video section and you'll see like first moves and all that other stuff. And you can get that, right? So what I would say to you, how do I overcome burnout? How do I overcome overwhelm? It's just one thought, take an action on that thought. One thought, take an action on that thought. And it's every day, right? Day one isn't so good, right? Swing 100 times, swing 101 times, swing 102 times, right? Swing 5,465 is going to be better than swing 105. Okay? I begin to understand, I begin to feel how I'm moving, what is required. And so I would just say take action. Just however you want to track it. Hey, I was 0 for 20 on the 20 that Dad threw today. How about tomorrow? Hey, I fouled 2 off tomorrow. Hey, how about the next day? Hey, I hit 2, fouled 4. Okay, how about the next day? Hit 8, fouled 7, only missed 5 times. Whatever it is. All right, so we start to measure. Little by little, we begin to build our process. And a swing process, trust me, when you got to build the foundation, and this is why I'm always talking about building foundations, using right nows and such, the foundation to hitting, it's massive. You need, right, it's like real estate, okay? You get a piece of land, and you want to make improvements on the land. If you're going to build a house, right? Well, guess what you got to do? You got to dig a hole. Right? We dig a hole and then we put up some block and we pour some concrete and we create this wonderful foundation, solid foundation. We got to do the same thing when we're hitting. Okay, so that's the analogy, right? We're building a house. Okay, we're building a house of hitting. Okay, and so if my first block, my foundation, my first court, they're unstable, then nothing's going to stand up on it. Okay, nothing's going to withstand streaks, hot streaks, cold streaks, whatever it is, but just the understanding of what it is that I am attempting to do as a hitter. Okay? So, once again, think, take action. Think, take action. And in between there, you get think, feedback, take action. Think, feedback, take action. Think, feedback, take action. When the first time you talk to me, first time we ever get together, right? What's the very first thing I tell you? Pick a target. Learn to create feedback from that target, right? It's the one thing we don't have in this game. Just about, and I'm sure there are others, but just off the top of my head, just about every other sport has some type of target, right? If we're going to shoot basketballs, right? The basket is my target, and I can tell if it goes in or not, right? And then typically I can feel off my fingertips why or why not, okay? Well, the same thing happens when I hit. If I have a target, I can tell if I'm on time, early, or late. Simple questions that I always ask. So none of this is, Rhodes Scholarly. Okay, we're not getting to that in-depth level yet. And yet, I will tell you, there are pro athletes who don't understand that, just as much as there are 10-year-olds that don't understand this. Okay, so. Number one, just do one thing, okay? That's a hint to something else that we do a little bit further down the line. Just do one thing, take action, get some feedback, think about how I could do that better, what would be my best next step, take action. Show up every day, okay? Just one thing, okay? What I would tell you to do, stop chasing around, looking for all these other videos. You don't need to worry about that right now. Just do one thing. And I'm telling you, it's not easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and tell you, oh, yeah, hey, if we just do this, you're going to be, the next Babe Ruth. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying it's difficult. I'm going to tell you it's going to require you to show up. It's going to require you to measure, because if you don't measure and you have a bad day or two at the beginning, then you get back into those self-doubt ideas, self-esteem ideas, confidence issues, okay? But once you get going, right, you've got to be able to give it a little bit of time, that you begin to understand how you move. And once you begin that, I'm telling you, the path is never easy, but it gets easier. And when it begins to get easier, you really feel great about it. You can't wait to get there. You can't wait to go to practice. You can't wait to get into your game, right? And that's the best advice that I can give to you, okay? Next time, let's talk a little bit about maybe some more concrete action, but I think from that aerial view, this is where I have to get to, okay? And like what I would tell you right now, my action step is stop chasing all the YouTube videos, all the TikToks, any of that stuff. That is dealing with others. We'll talk about how I would use that, and typically it's like, hey, trying to find the characteristics of how Albert Pujols hits. I don't want to be Albert. I can't be Albert. He moves completely different. In fact, Albert towers over me, right? So why am I going to try to hit like that? Okay. However, there's some characteristics that he uses that maybe I want to try to incorporate. Okay. So we'll go down that road, but for right now, stop chasing. Get rid of the little red ball. Stop chasing shiny objects. You're not a little kitty cat on catnip. Okay. You're a ball player. All right. And the first thing that we're going to start to do now is to dig in to how you move, how I move, okay? And we'll go from there. All right, until the next time, I'll see you soon. Coach Bill.